Alright, welcome back. On to game 2, and cannot believe it, but yet again, looking through the guys' lists, and I'm forced to play pVlad again. So, just shock and disbelief as I come down to the tournament expecting to really start breaking face with Epic Butcher, and I can't even play him. And the reason being is that my opponent with Protector of Menoth, normally, not so bad for eButcher, but he didn't have Harvey, so that might have been a problem as well. But the thing is, he's got Epic Severius, which is a very rare caster. Not many people like him. He's actually not as good as some of the other warcasters. But the problem is his feat. His feat allows him to take, potentially 6 Doom Reavers, I believe it is, and just use them for his whole turn. So what he can do is just turn them around and just go through my whole army, just berserking all of the other Doom Reavers, and that would just be a catastrophe. So with that in mind, I felt like I was almost forced into playing pVlad here. His other list was the High Reclaimer, but I'd seen him playing his first game with eSevi. I didn't know if he really liked his High Reclaimer list. It didn't seem particularly significant, and I knew that he would recognise that eSevi would have been the good choice. So pVlad it is, and this is going to be a really hard one. It's one of the new scenarios where you've got the artillery emplacement and the strips along the left and right side, which is a pain in the ass. And I'm just going to have to see what I can do with Vlad. It's going to be a problem, though, because my jacks can't shoot his jacks because of the choir, and he's got some Cinerators and Knights Errant, which will actually really bog me down in close combat, and it's going to be hard to clear those infantry. The Ternions certainly aren't going to be able to do it, so it might be up to Vlad. Could turn into a sort of Blood of Kings game by the end of it, God forbid. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. Next image shows you his deployment here. The zone that I'm trying to capture is right in front of his infantry there, whereas the Jack wall is moving up the left-hand side of the battlefield towards my zone. And eSevi there is just hanging behind the forest, which will be a great way to protect him from my destroyers. Next image, Vlad moves up very cautiously, and later on I'm going to be windwalling because he doesn't have any magical shooting, but it's combat that I'm going to be more worried about. But I think Vlad will be able to move up next to that artillery emplacement and actually throw some explosions down on those Knights Exemplar, which might help, but yeah, not an awful lot. Next image, so just moving in here, it's going to be difficult for Vlad to manoeuvre around and actually face both prongs of the two-faced attack while still using Windwall. So I might actually have to let the Jack shoot at me, which would be a pain. He's got 2 Vanquishers, I believe, and some Vassals at the back there. He's even got a Redeemer and I think possibly a Repenter. So things could be awkward. Next photo, this is the final layout of my turn. Vlad has indeed got Windwall up, but he's got 1 Decimator closer to the left-hand zone because if my opponent runs stuff over to it, he can contest it. And I think once you contest it, but you control your own objective, I think you start collecting points. Can't quite remember how the scenario goes. Vlad attempted to barrage the Errants, but all he succeeded in doing was, I think, clipping one of the Cinerators and speeding them up. No, I think that was what the Destroyer did. The Destroyer shot at him and gave him an extra +2 movement without killing anything. So just really stupid play by me. Next photo, he moves out and takes some shots at me, and of course the Cinerators run up. So I'm in a situation here where I really am going to lose, because if I split my jacks left and right, I'm going to get bogged down into this fight where eSevi is going to out-attrition me, and if he wants to, he can. If my Ternions get too close, he can feed on my Ternions and get rid of them. And his jacks with the choir are going to destroy my jacks. It's just simple as that. He's got the Vassals and the choir support. I haven't really got anything but the mechanics to support. He could even use his feed on the mechanics for crying out loud. So that's a problem. So what I decided to do is put Signs of Importance up, give focus to the jacks on the left-hand side, and try to blow up eSevi because he's brought himself a little bit far forward. I've got my feet, which doubles the jack movement, and Signs of Importance might allow me to blast him. He's only got 14 boxes, I think it was, 14 defense and armor. So first of all, move up the Destroyer and use Arcing Fire to lob a shell over to eSevi, boosting the hit roll, hits him, and then Signs of Importance damage on him. But I rolled terribly, terribly low. Even with Signs of Importance, it was all just 3s and 2s. Had I got a 14, including the this is a boosted 14, with the Cyto boost as well, which was very much doable. If I'd picked that off, that would have been game right there, but because of that, I had to try and wrangle a way around with one of my Decimators so I could get within 10 inches of him. This is with my 8-inch move, by the way. But he had a really annoying arc node, which you see in the middle of the picture there, with a reach, so I can't get engaged with him, otherwise I can't shoot. So going to the next photo, moved the Decimator up, and only barely, by the slimmest hair of margins, managed to actually fire his gun in between the flamethrower guy, the objective itself, and eSevi, and that's 10 inches away, and I had to stay out of 2-inch reach of the Repenter there. So just the closest game. I managed to do it in the end, blasting eSevi, but just a really awkward way to start the tournament. You know, I felt as though I got lucky this game. I really probably should have just gone with the Doom Reavers anyway, and had I taken the Doom Reavers, I would have been able to hit up the left flank with just, you know, Fenris, E-Butcher, and the Jacks, and just get embroiled in combat. E-Butcher himself could have probably destroyed some of those Jacks once it came down to a slugfest, whereas the Doom Reavers could have just rolled up the right-hand flank, stayed out of eSevi's feet range, and tied up his infantry, or even just keeping some of my guys in reserve would have been fine. So just bad choice, but hopefully I'm desperate to actually get E-Butcher out of the box. So far I haven't done that. If I end up playing any more with Vlad, I'm just going to be tearing my hair out. So on to the next game. Thanks guys, we're 1-1 now, so hopefully getting a bit of momentum back.